Welcome everyone to the Veterans Chamber Real Estate Show. We have a show every month where we bring real estate agents, lenders, brokers, resources for veterans interested in buying a property. And we provide through our veteran-friendly agents and lenders the resources necessary to properly and correctly go through the process of buying a home. For us, we do this as under the Housing for Heroes program. That is our mission to increase home ownership amongst military families, but taking under consideration the opportunities and the benefits that the veterans have when they're buying a home. So in order to do this, we went out and basically invited agents to become veteran friendly and also lenders to be veteran friendly lenders. That way we will be able to provide the right resource and also work with people who have a passion for working with veterans. So welcome to our radio show. Our host is Deborah, and
Hi.
She will be leading our questions. And our guest today is Dan, a lender in California. Deborah?
Hi, welcome to the show. And Joe and I are excited to have Dan here today. He is definitely a veteran-friendly lender. He's done some incredible VA loans for me personally and my clients. So I'm really excited to have Dan here today. I have a passion for vets. My grandfather was in World War I, my father in World War II, and my husband in the Korean War. So anyway, welcome to the show. Dan, thank you for coming today. Why is VA a good option for veterans?
Well, VA, first of all, is thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it, the opportunity to be here with you guys, and enjoy the partnership that we have. VA is the best loan option that's available out there. It is the most friendly as far as minimum down payments go. The interest rates are the best. Qualifying is as easy as it gets as far as the credit requirements and income requirements and things like that. And so overall, it is just the most it is the best option and available. They really try to assist veterans that want to buy homes, and rightfully so. For all the people that have. For all the people that have, given their time and everything to our country, it really did try to put together a program that is the best loan program out there for veterans.
Now, Dan, we've discussed this a little bit before, but why do you feel pre-qualifying before you start looking for homes is important?
Well, I kind of say with that, I say that the last thing in the world you want to do is go out and start shopping for a home and get your mindset and get all excited about a house and then come back and find out you don't qualify for the financing for it. And so it's much better for a couple reasons. One is it helps set the buyer's expectations on what the payments are going to be, what they can afford, all that type of stuff. But also in this market, when we have a scarcity of homes on the market, a lot of times, the realtors or the sellers are not really even willing to look or talk to somebody prior to having a pre-qualification. So you typically want to have that done first, so that you know what you're able to afford, and then that way you can find something that fits your price range.
Yeah, and I just wanted to add that's so true. There's actually sellers now that will not let you even make an appointment to view their home unless you have your pre-approval. So.
And I think that's also so I know from the beginning, Dan and I were talking about having our veterans first be pre-qualified.
Mhm.
And just to clarify, when someone seeks pre-qualification or pre-approval, there is no cost, right? Dan?
No cost at all. No, it's a free consultation. They get a lot of information on what the actual, what they can first of all qualify for, but then what the payments are going to look like, and what. So there's two things I always talk about. There's what they can qualify for, and then a lot of borrowers have their own, like, hey, I can only afford this, and so we kind of talk through what that payment that they have in mind will get them, and is it enough, and if we went up a little bit higher, what would the payment look like then? And so there's a good discussion that goes on so that they can find the right price range for them before they go out.
Yes, and also I think it fits with once you know that someone is pre-qualified for a home, then you're able to match them with the right agent.
That's
that
right.
is,
Yeah.
you know,
Sure.
okay.
Once they know the area and where they want to be, and we can match them up with the right agent to find them.
And of course, for our program, we want to match them with a verified veteran-friendly agent.
Always, yes, always, for sure.
Yeah, and what's so wonderful right now is we do have veteran certified friendly agents all over Southern California. And if someone has a relative or friend in Northern California, we can help them there as well with a
Yeah.
veteran certified friendly agent. So now, Dan, is the pre-qualifying process, is that fairly simple?
It's actually really easy. I always talk with people. There's three aspects to qualifying for a home. How much do you want to put down? And with VA, a lot of times that can be zero. So that's one of the nice things about VA, that they're allowing, they're allowing the lowest down payment in the industry for loans. The second aspect is their credit score, or their actual FICO scores. And then the third aspect is, do they make enough money to afford the loan? And so it's really a pretty simple process of just putting those three pieces of the puzzle together. And so, yeah, it's a pretty painless and easy process to get done.
Okay, sounds good. And being a VA friendly lender, what advantage do real estate agents have as far as working with you? So
Well,
what is
yeah,
the advantage? I know the advantage to me is you're an amazing lender and you've been fabulous with all my clients, but just for the general real estate population, what would the advantages be?
I think you hit it on the head. I mean, I think the first thing is about the VA friendly lender and the VA. We want to work with VA friendly agents. We really want to. There's so many people out there that can be chosen. We really want to, with this program, want to focus with people that have gone through the process to become a VA certified realtor or lender like ourselves. And but we offer all kinds of things. I mean, we offer our own. We have our own networking group that we use, called the Masters Group. I know you guys are both a member of that. I know, Deborah, I think you've actually been able to meet some clients or meet some potential clients through that group. Yeah, so that's definitely. Just one. I think the last we looked, it was up over 700 members, and so there's involvement in that if people want to be. It's a free networking group to join. So if everybody, anybody interested in our Pay It Forward program is able to join that. And it's just I don't know. My feeling is that it's finding people that you're comfortable working with. I always tell people when realtors are looking for mortgage people, or when buyers are looking for realtors, or it's finding somebody that you're comfortable with, that comes from a trusted source, and that you feel comfortable, so that because buying a home can be a stressful process. And so when you have a question at 8:00 on a Saturday night when you're up, you can't go to bed because you're worried about something. You want somebody that you feel comfortable reaching out to, and that can answer your questions, and that you feel confident with.
Yes, and I think that's as a buyer, a VA buyer, I can attest to that. Having the ability to get quick responses from the agents and from the lenders. It was critical through the process, and it makes it very pleasant.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
But,
It's a big process. Buying a home is a big decision, and it's not only a big financial decision, but it's a big emotional process that people
Right.
go through. And so you really want to make sure that you have somebody that you're comfortable working with and reaching out to.
Right.
And so, that's the number one thing more than anything.
Okay. And that's kind of the mindset behind for the chamber and the Housing for Heroes program to verify veteran-friendly agents and lenders,
Yeah.
because that's knowledge can be obtained now. It's it's easy to obtain, and you can just open Google or whatever, and you can get that. But what you cannot get in Google is the personal connection,
No.
and someone who actually has the drive and the passion to work with veterans or military or other heroes.
That's right.
So our groups are small, are selective because of that, because that's what we look for, is having who has that passion, that drive to work with our veteran population.
Absolutely. That makes complete sense.
So Dan, what is the average VA rate right now for a 30-year loan?
Well, it kind of depends. If you're under the 548,000 limit, you're still in the low to mid twos on that.
That's amazing.
The rate spectrum, this is just good knowledge for people. There's not one rate that's available for people. There's a whole list of rates. It just depends on how much you want to pay in closing costs to get each rate. And so it's really a choice of the buyer. Do they want to, hey, I'm going to be here for 30 years, so I'm going to pay a bunch of closing costs up front to get the lowest rate possible? Or, hey, I don't have a lot of money. I don't want to spend a lot of money in closing costs, so therefore I'll choose a little bit higher rate because I can afford a little bit more on the payment rather than shelling out a bunch of money up front. So it really, but I would say the mid twos is a really good feel for where they are.
Which is still phenomenal.
Yeah,
it's pretty amazing. Really,
yeah,
really
it is.
amazing.
It's
Definitely.
When-
Now, what about a veteran that would like to refinance their home? What
Good question.
options would they have?
So there's a couple different programs. Okay, there's two main programs through VA for refinancing. There's what they call the normal refinance is like a cash out refinance, where they don't have either they don't have an existing VA loan right now, or they want to pull some equity out of their home. Okay, and they can do that. Used to be up to 100% of the value of their home. It's kind of capped at 90%. You can go above that, but the costs and things become prohibitive. So right now, 90% of the home on a cash out basis is available for people. If you're coming from like another type of loan, if you have a conventional loan or if you have an FHA, you can also go under that program. And again, the rates are still in the mid twos. VA has another program that a lot of veterans take advantage of called their interest rate reduction program, or it's called a VA EARL for short.
Oh.
And it's when the veteran has an existing VA loan and they're going to another VA loan with just a lowering the rate. And the advantage is that it lowers the funding fee. The one thing about VA that can be costly is the funding fee that VA charges. So on the VA EARL, the funding fee is only a half of 1% of the loan, and it's easily eaten up we can easily eat that up in the credits that the lender gives. So let's say somebody had a 3.5% rate today on a VA loan. They are a candidate to go into the mid to high twos, let's say, with very limited costs and very limited qualifications, no appraisal, no income documentation, none of that stuff, and just lower their rate without a ton of costs. So it's a really great program for anybody that's, I would say, north of 3.25%, they should be looking at the VA roll if it's an option.
That's
there-
good.
Is there any other cost besides the 0.5%?
You've got the 0.5% to VA, and then you've got the title and escrow fees and things like that come with it. But again, like I was saying, you get a choice of interest rates, so you can go really low and pay costs, or you can, if it's still enough of a benefit, you can go a little higher and pay zero costs. You can actually do that loan. I do quite a few of those loans with zero costs. So it just depends on how high your interest rate is now and how low do you want to go, and do you want to pay costs to get that.
So if someone has a scenario, someone has a 3.5%,
Yeah.
and they pay the 0.5 point for the VA,
Yeah.
and they can go zero cash out, or zero cash, or zero out of pocket.
Yeah.
They still lower their interest rate to
Yes.
2%,
The 2.5 to
2.5.
let's say 2.5-ish, 2.75-ish in there. Yeah.
Okay.
You can still lower their rate significantly.
So can you give me an idea of the dollar amount that a veteran will be saving on,
Yeah. On a $500,000 loan, let's say, that's kind of a good
Mhm.
number.
Yeah.
And here in California, that seems like a reasonable mortgage number in California. On a $500,000 mortgage, a savings like that would be about $300 a month,
Okay.
$50 a month.
That's a lot.
And so
That's over 30 years.
over 30 years, yeah. And
Because-
it's not a lot of cost to obtain it. So
Right. Okay.
nothing out of pocket.
Because the reduction on the interest rate, it really becomes a new loan, correct? A new 30 days? I mean,
Yes.
30 years?
Yeah, you start over a new 30-year mortgage. And so the rule is that you have to save 0.5% or more in order to do it. So if you can't save at least 0.5% with limited costs,
Mm-hmm.
and the VA doesn't allow you to do it.
Right.
That's-
Otherwise, it makes no sense.
Right. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to limit people from, from, hey, I'm at 3.5 and I'm going to go to 3.25 and I'm going to pay $10,000 to get that. That's not a benefit to the veteran. So to protect
Right.
veterans, they have rules in place that the savings have to be big enough. They have to pass a benefit test. They call it a benefit test in order for them to even be able to obtain.
There was some mail that some veterans were receiving that they contacted us and said, see, that was true. I said, well, I'll find out. But there is a offers for like 1.75%, something like that.
Yeah.
Is that realistic?
Yeah, there are rates that low. They're not. The rates have been moving up slightly over the last few months, but there are rates that are very low. What I always find with advertisements like that is that people are always attracted to the lowest rate, and so yes, those rates are available at like say 1.75, but the costs to get it can become prohibitive.
And as a business person, anything that has a cost to it is a no-no. So it's like, if something's going to cost you to get something, then walk away, because then it becomes it doesn't make business sense.
Yeah. So what I talk to people about is like when they're deciding on what rate should I choose on my VA or all, right? I'll say, well, okay, so you can pay no costs and save $300 a month, or you can have them tack an additional $6,000 onto the back of your loan and save $400 a month. And I give them the choice on what they would, if they'd rather save the extra 100 a month and have the costs tacked on, that's fine. But it's always a choice. I don't, as a general rule, I prefer low cost loans. I rarely do loans where buyers choose to pay points or pay extra. In the long run, to me, it just doesn't make sense.
It really doesn't. It really doesn't make sense. I mean, when you buy the house for the first time, it makes total sense. But when you want to refinance, it makes no sense, because then you start all over again.
A bunch of costs, So a lot of times, I look at like if you're able to save $300 a month with no cost, and then it's $400 a month, and it's $6,000 in cost. I kind of do like, I'll tell them, hey, that's going to take you 5 years of saving $100 a month to make up
Right.
the cost that you just paid. So
Right.
think you're going to be there for longer than 5 years, then it's okay. But most of the time I try to steer people away from paying a tremendous amount of.
No. Well, and thank you for that. And that's one of the reasons why you are a verified veteran-friendly lender.
Yeah.
To answer your question, the rates are available. I mean, you can get a rate as low as 2%.
Right. But
Five.
but it's like I was telling the family, the contact that is like, yeah, it's like going to buy a car for $59 a month on a lease. And I said, great, but they're asking you to put $10,000. That makes no sense. So,
Right.
so if someone is giving you a 1% interest rate, but you have to put down $50,000, then just silly. That's just basically fraud, or not cool. Maybe not fraud, but not very cool to do.
And I think that a lot of people are attracted to whenever people call me, they don't ask me, especially first-time buyers, they ask me, what's your rate? They don't understand that, what do you want my rate to be? You can choose whatever rate you want. It's just depending on what costs. It's a balance between the rate and how much the costs are going to be to get that rate. That's really the question for buyers. When you're comparing lenders or when you're comparing things, it's not, hey, this guy gave me 2.5 and this guy gave me 2.75. It's, what did it cost me to get the rate that I'm getting? There's two factors to it.
And one more question from me before I give it to you, Deborah, since we're kind of running out of time. But what are the right questions? Because when it comes down to one or the other, what are the right questions for someone to ask a lender, so they get the right information, and then they just don't walk into a situation where they're like unaware? So what are the right questions to ask?
Well, they really should ask for a loan estimate. That's really the document that gives you the full breakdown of all the costs that you're paying. I think with first-time buyers, especially with VA, where they're typically putting down a low down payment, a lot of times I'll ask a person this question directly. I'll say, hey, what sounds better to you? Keeping $10,000 in your bank account or saving an additional $100 a month on your house payment? And most of the time, especially for people that don't have a lot, don't have a big down payment to put down, they don't have a lot of money in the bank, let's say, keeping the 10 grand in the bank account is a lot better for them financially than saving the extra $100 a month in the payments. And so I think it's really, so to answer your question about what they should be asking, when you can obtain a loan estimate, you can compare the two different lenders on what their costs are. That's the real thing. A lot of lenders talk in terms of rates or APRs or things like that, but they don't really. They take advantage a little bit of the buyer's naivete as far as not knowing what to ask for.
Exactly.
What to ask, and not knowing that the costs are variable depending on what rate you choose and what lender you go to. So that's really the big thing. I get a lot of people that just come to me and say, what's your rate? And I'll say, got to talk rate and cost.
So it's a combination of those two.
Question.
Yes.
Wrap it up, which is related to closing costs. But don't disabled veterans have an advantage when they get a VA loan as far as their closing costs?
They do. So anybody that has a disability in the line of service does not have to pay the funding fee that I talked about earlier that could be prohibitive. So that is a big advantage and that also goes for the interest rate reduction loan. They don't have to pay the 0.5% fee for that either. So so what happens for anybody that's got a disability in the line of service, they have no funding fees for any of their VA loans.
Is there a particular percentage of disability?
That's a good question. They usually know. So it usually is listed on their on their on the form that they get from the VA. So usually when people come to me, they're already aware of whether or not, and we can tell right away when we order the form. It'll tell us VA eligible, and then with disability or not.
Okay.
So there's basically when they apply, we go pull the form from the VA, and the VA will it will tell us on the form if the person's eligible for the disability.
Good to know. And I think those are the when we're talking about the agents coming to work with you, because those are the little corners, little blind spots that many agents don't know.
Yeah.
That they can be offered, and
yeah.
So yeah.
And the funding, the one thing is too, on a purchase, the funding fee gets to be, on any VA loan, the funding fee gets to be wrapped up into the loan itself. So the borrower does not have to come out of pocket with the funding fees.
Okay.
As well. It goes on top of the mortgage.
It's definitely the best loan.
It's 100% the best loan.
Yeah, being a client, I can tell you, I can attest to that.
Yeah, because other loans, one last thing that I'll mention on it, other loans where you're putting low down payment options have monthly mortgage insurance that they charge, and VA does not. So I did want to
correct
that too. There's no mortgage insurance on VA.
Yeah, I think our next step for our Congress is to eliminate the tax insurance.
Yeah,
that'll be nice. That'll be nice. Deborah, any other questions before we?
I think that's it, Dan. You've been so informative, and we really appreciate you coming today.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Dan, and thank you, Deborah, for hosting the show. And I had a few questions myself, but I really appreciate the time, and I know there's more things to cover. And having Dan and Deborah part of the show, it really brings the information and the knowledge base to the forefront. So we are the Veterans Chamber of Commerce. We're very pleased and honored to have you both participate in the program. We are very excited for our Housing for Heroes to be participating in California and as well as in other states. So with this, we want to say thank you to everyone for watching the show. And if you have any questions, the emails and links will be added to the video. So when you watch this video, you'll have those links, and you'll be able to contact and set up appointments with either Deborah, Dan, or other agents that participate in the program. Again, thank you very much. This is the Veterans Radio Show under the Housing for Heroes project. We thank you and looking forward to see you next month.